Welcome in to the Weather Wednesday podcast here at New England Storm Center. So, another Weather Wednesday, another tornado outbreak to talk about, just like last Weather Wednesday. This was a very significant outbreak. The Friday night through Saturday outbreak was very significant. There have been over 100 tornadoes confirmed, including a handful of violent tornadoes, EF2 plus. EF4 was the highest rated tornado during the outbreak. And again, like last week, I was watching live coverage of this tornado break on Friday evening as it was unfolding. And it was really something that how many tornado warnings and even multiple tornado emergencies going on at the same time. There were two areas of severe weather. You had the northern area working through Illinois and Indiana, and then you had a southern area that hit Arkansas, Tennessee. And the northern area of that, there was just a wall of tornado warnings. Basically, every single cell throughout Illinois had a tornado warning on it on Friday evening. It really was amazing. I was watching Ryan Hall Y'all's coverage of the outbreak on his live stream on YouTube, and he made a remark that he said that they basically should just issue one massive tornado warning across the entire line, the entire northern line, and that's basically how it was. There was just tornado after tornado after tornado showing up on radar, and at one point during the outbreak in particular, there was a cleared tornado on radar. There was a very defined hook. The wind velocity was very clear that there was a tornado in this spot. There was a tornado warning just to the north and a tornado warning just to the south. There was a very narrow strip where those two tornado warnings were not covering, and a tornado popped up in that area. It just shows you that there was really no hit or miss in the northern area when it comes to severe weather. It was just one big line. And, again, over 100 tornadoes confirmed, just over 100. That is really a significant tornado outbreak. Some of the hardest hit areas, you have Covington, Tennessee. Again, I was watching the live coverage, and you could just see a powerhouse tornado on the wind velocity and the correlation coefficient. You could see it was a powerhouse tornado going right into the city of Covington. It was really a tense moment watching that on radar, just knowing the destruction and the power behind the radar, what's going on in real life. And, it did significant damage in that city. The Covington Hospital was damaged. I saw a damage report that night saying that patients were being rerouted to other nearby hospitals. You have Wynne, Arkansas, which basically got leveled. Areas of the city basically got leveled. Areas of Little Rock got hit hard. So again, a lot of destruction. And again, that's just the southern end. The northern end as well in Illinois and Indiana, there was the theater roof collapse that was deadly. Injured several more, so another very destructive and, unfortunately, another very deadly tornado outbreak occurring last Friday through Saturday. And again, we are just hitting the peak of severe weather season now. Of course, March and April is when the most severe weather happens. So again, unfortunately, there's very likely going to be more severe weather and more tornadoes as we continue going through April. So again, if you are in these tornado-prone areas, you have to have a plan ready and be ready to execute it when severe weather is predicted, because it has been deadly and destructive so far this year. So this severe weather did push eastward on Saturday evening, not nearly to the extent that occurred on Friday, but New England for a couple of days was looking like we might get into potentially a small severe weather outbreak, not a tornado outbreak, of course, but there were indications of some severe thunderstorms popping off in Vermont and Massachusetts. As we got into Friday, the guidance was pushing that weather, the worst of the severe weather, further south away from New England, and that's what ended up transpiring. Saturday, New Jersey and Delaware got hammered by severe weather and even a, a handful of tornadoes. Now, there was still a chance for strong to severe thunderstorms in New England. It didn't really end up forming. The southern end of it had all the severe weather. There was a line of thunderstorms that moved through New England, the northern line. There were some strong storms. There was some hail and lightning with them, but not much by way of severe weather. Right at the end of the line, right as the line was ready to push out of New England, one severe thunderstorm did pop in southeastern New Hampshire. So New England did get our first severe thunderstorm of the season this past Saturday. Again, that was in southeast New Hampshire, right as the line was pushing away. We did pop one severe thunderstorm. And, there's a severe weather slash tornado outbreak going on right now as I record this. Here, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, there's been a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings. There's been several tornado warnings. I believe there's been several tornadoes reported, including a large one in Illinois. Again, I don't really have the details on this outbreak as it's happening while I'm recording this, but it's going on right now, even so. Active severe weather season this spring. So, leaving the severe weather aside and coming back to New England, winter is maybe making its last stand, maybe not. Based on the extended forecast, we can talk about that in a minute. It looks like that this could very well be winter's last stand coming in tonight, Wednesday night. We're looking at potentially a moderate impact ice storm. It doesn't look like it will be a significant ice storm, but areas of the White Mountains, the eastern Vermont, and the Maine Mountains could be looking at zero point 0.4 to even maybe a half an inch of ice accretion Wednesday night. The good news is that with it being early April, anything that falls during the day really isn't going to do much. It's not really going to be until Wednesday evening and Wednesday night that things start accumulating. Up into northern Maine, there could be more sleet and snow. Uh, right now, there could be 3 to 6 inches of snow and sleet in northern Maine. So, winter weather advisory is posted for much of northern New England, actually, except for western Vermont, southern New Hampshire, and the Maine coastline don't have one, but everyone else is under a winter weather advisory. Again, maybe the last one of the year. We'll see. The extended outlook has really been flip-flopping the past couple weeks, but right now it's looking like the western U.S. is going to stay cold in April. We kind of saw that coming, but it looked like there might be a flip toward the middle of the month that would give New England maybe slightly below to seasonable weather while the west warms up. Now it's looking like through mid-April, the eastern U.S. is going to stay on the warm side, and suddenly we are looking at our first real potential for some prolonged warm spring-like weather, widespread 70s. So spring does look like it will be coming. And should this forecast hold up, yeah, this tonight could be winter's last stand here in New England. We will have to wait and see. Of course, again, the extended outlooks have kind of been flip-flopping, so. And that's what I expected in my April weather outlook that I put out recently. I mentioned that both the cool weather and the warm weather would be getting victories and would be kind of going back and forth. And we have winter weather coming in today. We have potentially well above average and spring-like weather coming in next week. The week after that, we'll have to see. But that is what I predicted, was a very up and down April that we're going to have weather-wise. So on to the resort roundup. And it happened. We had our bulk closure of the season. We had 11 resorts have their final weekend this past weekend. And Pat's Peak, in addition to that, Pat's Peak announced that they would not be opening this weekend. So the last weekend in March was their last weekend. So in this update, we have lost a dozen ski resorts across New England, including 4 of the 5 that were still open in southern New England. Wachusett is pushing on with a bonus weekend next weekend. So they are the last ones standing in southern New England. No surprise there. The big guys up in the White and Green Mountains and into the main mountains, they are going strong with spring skiing still. They have no plans to close at the moment, at least no plans publicly announced when it comes to closing dates. The big guys, Killington, Bretton Woods, Sugarloaf, Loon, all those big guys up in the northern New England mountains do not have any kind of public closing dates announced quite yet. So spring skiing still going strong up in the mountains. So you do not have to wait, as I always say, until Weather Wednesday to get the resort roundup. If you head to newenglandstormcenter.com and head over to the resort roundup tab, you can see the update there. You can see a map of the resorts that are still open. You can also see a list of when resorts closed this season so far. Again, we monitor 42 resorts. 22 are still open as we head into the second weekend in April. So that is going to do it for this edition of Weather Wednesday. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Keep it right here. Keep it at newenglandstormcenter.com. And you will hear from me again next Wednesday.